I have some questions.
Go ahead, Ms. Quinones.
On page 10, you indicated the losses in enrollment will cause the school district to lose operating revenues without necessarily permitting the district to adjust fixed operating cost. Can you explain that on basic terms?
On the long-term declining enrollment,
Well, your statement on page 10, it states losses in enrollment will cause a school district to lose operating revenues without necessarily permitting the district to adjust fixed operating cost.
yeah, so if there's a loss in enrollment, some of the fixed operating costs will still be there. So like accounting costs, some other costs that are always reoccurring, and ADA is a significant factor in revenue. So if there's a declining enrollment, then some of that funding that is usually generated from that enrollment won't be seen in the future fiscal year. So that's why we included that long-term declining enrollment affects funding, because there's a fluctuation in enrollment, and due to the LCFF funding, then if there's a loss in enrollment, usually you're not able to really obtain that revenue back.
And I'm sorry, and I have one more question, and that's for the superintendent. What strategy have you implemented to reduce the top line to align to the decrease in student enrollment?
Thank you, Ms. Quinones, for the question. So district-wide, and I'm going to try to stay within the confines of this agenda item as it relates to the audit. So I have to be careful around that because this is not on enrollment strategies. But since it impacts the budget with respect to funding, we are funded based on our average daily attendance, which is different than enrollment. I wish we would get funded based on the enrollment that we have, but we don't. We get funded whether the students show up every single day. And so we know what those numbers are. We know we have a declining birth rate, that the students aren't there. I mean, we've seen the decline year after year. So over the past several years, we actually have been working on declining enrollment by actually defining what strategies work, and also our principals. We actually have produced a guide, and I can share that with the board, just that has a list of all of these different types of enrollment strategies that all of our schools are doing on a continual basis. The marketing of our programs, we have signature programs that we have in our district in order to attract enrollment, because if the students aren't being born, the only way to grow as a district is to actually have students come from other districts, and that's just the reality. And we are funded in the latter year, so based on the attendance data that we get this year, that'll impact the funding next year. So it's always based